And we are live. Welcome to the process. It is Tuesday, January 10th. I am Josh Engleman, here to break down a 7-game NBA slate for you guys today on this lovely Tuesday. Another fantastic size slate. It's going to be a really good week. I'm excited to dive into it. I hope you guys are as well. I hope you had some good luck yesterday. I didn't. I got one into the top 1% on FanDuel. It's good enough, I guess. You're always happy to have one stray bullet get in there. Wish I would have had a couple more, but didn't work out that way. Oh well. On to the next one, which is again today. So we're going to have some fun. Folks, if you're here, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live. You got to follow me on Twitter at Josh Engleman. If you have any questions, please hit me up in the comments section of this video. But for now, we got to break down some basketball, folks. I'm incredibly excited to have some coffee, as I normally am. Really, like getting up at 5, I'd pry myself out of bed by like 5:10. Got a shower this morning, fed the dogs, got myself ready, got myself prepped. There's something about having my coffee made and like sitting here and watching it for an hour that really builds up the anticipation. So I get a lot out of having this first sip, but I'm not going to get a lot out of this first game, OKC and Miami. That one's not going to be all that fun. Good morning to everybody that's in chat. Good crowd so far here today. It's going to be a fun one to break down. Again, 7 games, manageable slate all week. I've rambled enough. Let's get into it. I got my coffee. It feels nice and warm. It's a cold morning today, too. What do we got? What's the weather here? Pour one out for Dark Sky, the weather app. It is 38 degrees right now. That is quite chilly. Feels like 35. It's cold. So this coffee is going to hit the spot. If you got a coffee, please join me. If you got a water or a tea, that'll work as well. Rise and grind, everybody. I got the point down. We know how we're doing this now. Rise and grind, everybody. Shout out to BetMGM, who we'll talk about in a little bit. But for now, I say cheers to you guys. Ooh, little things open. Okay. It's probably hotter than I want it to be. But what are you going to do? Let's get into it. I'll actually move my stuff around today, too. Boom. There we go. So we're going to kick it off. OKC. They are 4.5-point dogs in Miami. Is that real? Did I enter that incorrectly? Who's out for Miami? Wow, it is real. All right, so I assume Miami's got some healthy, non-healthy players, I guess. JRE, Poku, and Jeng are all out for Oklahoma City, which is kind of annoying. I guess they've got everybody up right now. On Sunday, they went to an 11-man rotation. How real was that? They beat Detroit by 11. They were winning for most of the game. Aaron Wiggins played the entire second quarter. That's something. Muscala, weird rotation. I mean, this team is just a disaster. All right. Rates aren't going to matter all that much, nor are most of the guys that I'm going to give minutes to. I'm probably pretty close to correct right now. 35 to Shea. 22 to Trey Mann. I got 30 in for Dort. I am going to take that down a peg, down to 29. 30 for Giddey. That works. I got Kenrich Williams in for 23. That works. I got Isaiah Joe in for 22. That's too many. We're going to take that down to 19 as well. I got 30 for Jalen Williams. Feel like I need to make that 29. Yeah, I'm going to make that 29. Jalen Williams with a Y didn't play the past 2 games. Is available, which is even more confusing. So I'm certainly taking his minutes down. We'll go to 14. Scala, I'm going to take down to 16. I do have Omer Yuri in for 12 minutes right now. I think that's fine. I don't have minutes going to Lindy Waters right now or Aaron Wiggins. I guess I need to give Aaron Wiggins these 11. I don't trust literally anything that I see. And that's a good thing, sort of, because it lets you know that we're not playing anyone other than Williams, Giddey, Dort, or Shea, and we're probably not playing anybody other than Shea. And there's a decent chance we're not playing anybody at all. Crispy, what's good? Oh, God. All right, here we go. Here's Miami. I'm deleting the entire rotation, obviously, because they've got some guys out. We've got no Kyle Lowry. Oh, my God. Thank God this is the first game of the night, because if this were later in the day, this might be legit impossible. No Kyle Lowry, no Caleb Martin. We got a Q tag on Tyler Hero. Did play on Sunday. Played 37 minutes. We've got a Q tag on Bam Adebayo. Did play. I'm going to assume that he left early on Sunday, just based on the minutes that I see. Lost to Brooklyn by 1. Yeah, they couldn't have just taken Bam off the floor, right? Anyway, Q tag on Bam. Gabe Vincent is probable. We know that there's no Duncan Robinson, Jovic, or Yurtseven. So they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I mean, they've basically got 9 real bodies. So there's that. This is going to get really interesting for the Miami Heat today. Oh, damn. I have the times in this sheet wrong. Okay, so I didn't skip the Pistons game. I'll show you what I'm doing here. I have, based on the basketball reference schedule, they had all of these games starting at 7:30. I didn't skip shit, guys. Apparently, the Pistons game is now a 7 o'clock start. So, oh well. Either way, 7:30 should be fine. This is going to be brutal. All right, if Gabe Vincent is in and Kyle Lowry isn't playing, then I think that we're getting like 28 minutes out of Vincent with the potential to play a little bit more. Tyler Hero plays 36 minutes a night pretty much no matter what. What else do we have here for Miami? So I guess we're going to get Butler pretty obviously in a big chunk of playing time. He's playing like 34 a game. I assume we get Haywood Highsmith in the starting lineup with him playing 26. And then I assume we just get Bam in for his 35. Now, the rest of this will be honestly pretty easy. Victor Oladipo is playing like 29 minutes a game. I'm just going to assume that he does that again. I don't know if they're going to go to Dwayne Dedmon or Orlando Robinson. In a weird way, it kind of matters. I'm going to assume it's Orlando Robinson, who for some reason I don't have on the team right now. I don't know how that happened. Weird. I don't know how I accidentally deleted that. So let's get Orlando Robinson in for the backup center room. That leaves me 39 minutes for basically Max Strus. I think Jamal Cain's going to have to play today. Or someone that I have listed here is going to play way more minutes. So I'm going to say that Strus plays... 30 minutes. And that leaves me 9 for Jamal Cain. I also think we're live to see somebody else sit, but they're going to have like 8 dudes today. I mean, it's not like Miami's great. All right, we got to grab rates for Miami, obviously. So we're going to do games where Kyle Lowry is off. And then games in which Butler, Bam, and Hero all started. Should be a decent enough sample. Okay, good enough. So we've got Bam, 266 minutes with Lowry off in games where Butler, Bam, and Hero all started. Honestly, how much do they normally stagger? I almost feel like I should just say that like 2 of those 3 guys are on. Let's try that. At least 2 of Butler, Bam, and Hero on the floor. Yeah, I think that'll be a little bit better of a look. Bam's at 26% usage. Gabe Vincent is at 12. So we'll see where that ends up after I project Butler. Butler in 164 minutes, 23% usage. That feels off. Hero is at 26. All right, so if I do go back to started, does that change anything? Not really. All right, so Bam in at 26. Gabe Vincent is going to get whatever I give him. Jimmy Butler in at 25. Max Strus, call it 18. Tyler Hero, 27. Oh, yeah, Victor Oladipo being around now matters. He does not have very sizable usage. Look, if Miami ends up losing Bam, we're going to have so much center value. That would be the one we would want. Bam assist rate with no Lowry. Oddly enough, goes down even more. Butler assist rate, no Lowry, goes up. Hero assist rate, no Lowry, stays the same. Oladipo's goes up. And then rebounding. Nothing good here for Bam. Nothing new for Butler. Tyler Hero, nothing new. So I guess that's Miami. So let's look here at game 1. I'm going to fix that time now quickly, just so I get it right on the strategy show. All right. So assuming everybody ends up in for Miami, I guess I like Jimmy Butler the most, but the fact that he's just power forward eligible on DraftKings is so stupid. So it's probably Tyler Hero because of the flexibility. And then Butler, and then $9,100 Bam. On FanDuel, they're all super similar. They all have the MPE. I'd say probably Hero is going to be best, Bam 2, Butler 3. But on DraftKings, you can get to all of these guys. Strus, Oladipo, Gabe Vincent, Haywood Highsmith. Miami's much more interesting on DraftKings than they are on FanDuel for today. Like Highsmith, 3,900 is fine, but he's not the best per minute guy. Gabe Vincent's already 4K. Victor Oladipo's 5,700. I'm going to stick to the top 3 guys for FanDuel. For OKC, I basically don't even need to look at this. They look terrible. Going to anybody, it's Shea. The best thing you could do is probably go to no one. All right, now we'll go to Detroit. the game that I quote-unquote skipped. And we'll look at the Pistons first, who are 10-point dogs in Philly, 229 total. No Bojan, no Jalen Duren, no Marvin Bagley. Livers questionable. Rodney Magruder is available. I'm going to scratch this entire rotation. This one should be fun. So we're going to get Killian Hayes, obviously. And he's been playing much bigger minutes as of late. So I'm going to go 33 to Hayes. We're going to go ahead and get Jaden Ivey in for 28. Who started on Sunday against Philly? So Bay started on Sunday. I assume he's going to start again. And probably at the 4. I think we're going to get Hamidou Diallo starting. So I'm going to give Diallo 28 minutes. I'm going to give Sadiq Bey 28 minutes. No Jalen Duren, so we're going to get Beef Stew in there for 32, we'll say. Oh, man, this is brutal. This projecting the Pistons, 10-point dogs, missing the guy that's probably their best player, the guy that's probably their second best player. Another rotation, 2 more rotation pieces against a Philly team with no Embiid, and they're still 10-point dogs. This is ugly. This is truly ugly. So I'm guessing we get Nerlens Noel as the backup center. We're going to get Alec Burks playing his 24 minutes. Slot those in. Kevin Knox appears to be playing, so we're going to give him 16 at a minimum. So we got to replace 35 minutes of Bojan, too. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They might only have 9 guys if Isaiah Livers can't play. So Rodney Magruder, I think, is going to play and going to play like a pretty sizable chunk of time. Then I'm going to say that Livers plays as well. Something like this. This is bleak for this Pistons team. I don't even know how to grab rates. So that's going to be, what, no Cade. Bojan off, Cade off. I guess. In games that Hayes and Ivy both played. I don't even know what this sample is going to look like. All right, so we get 350 minutes of Sadiq Bey. Usage rate goes up to 23. I think that makes some sense. Killian Hayes played 237 minutes in this scenario, 21% usage rate. Jaden Ivey is at 33% usage in games that Cade and Bojan were in times where Cade and Bojan were off. Hayes and Ivy both played. That is insanity. We're going to take Burks up to 23.5. I'm going to take Jaden Ivey up to 31% usage. Wow, that changes everything. He might actually end up looking okay. Beef Stew goes in for like 17.5. Diallo, not that kind of guy. Just stays at 20. I don't even want to see what this Pistons team is about to look like. It's going to be really unappealing. I guess I should be giving Corey Joseph some minutes here too. Maybe before Magruder. Not that this really matters. All right, assist rate. Killian Hayes actually with the massive assist rate in this scenario. Hay doesn't do shit. No changes for Ivy. No changes for Diallo. No real changes for Burks. Rebounding could be interesting for Beef Stew just because they're running out of big guys. Turns out no real changes there. So I think we're good for Detroit. I have no idea what they're going to look like as we move forward. On the Philly end, obviously we've been without Joel Embiid for a bit. He's questionable today. At least we'll know it. I mean, they should not be playing Joel Embiid today. But I guess I got to project him in. Oh, this is so annoying. I'm going to end up projecting this idiot in, and he's not going to play. I know this is going to happen. All right. So we get Maxey in. His minutes are back. You know, I'm going 34 to Maxey. We're going 36 to James Harden. We're going 34 to Tobias Harris. We're getting Tucker in for, I don't know, call it 24. Yeah, we'll go 24. And then we get Embiid in. I mean, if he's back, I'm just giving him 33 minutes. I assume we just get Montrezl Harrell in as the backup center. We get George Niang playing his standard 21 minutes a night. We get DeAnthony Melton in for his 29, I guess. And that leaves me 14 minutes left for Shake Milton. Now, unfortunately, I got to grab the rates for Embiid being back, so I'm really excited to have to change those again later. But what are you going to do? Games where Harden, Harris, Embiid, and Maxey all started. They've only played 6 games where the 4 of them are together. That's kind of nuts. All right, let's just do greater than 3. That'll at least make this a little bit bigger of a sample. Yeah, there we go. All right. We're going to get Embiid in 38% usage. We're going to get Harden in 26% usage. We're going to get Maxey in for 26% usage. That lets us get Tobias Harris in for 18. Anthony Melton in for a crisp 15. We'll go 16. Assist rates shouldn't be too different. A little bit of a bump for Harden. Maxey stays the same. Embiid stays the same. Rebounds. No changes for Embiid. No changes for Harden. So I think we're good here for Philly. Assuming Joel Embiid is back, 11-2 on DraftKings looks really good. I don't mind going to him for 11-6 on FanDuel, but that's a pretty healthy price tag. Maxey 7,200 on DraftKings, 7,300 on FanDuel is certainly a price. I feel like I need to walk him back a hair, but nothing too crazy. I think he's just going to look really good. Don't have a ton of interest in Harden if Embiid's back. Don't really have any interest in Tobias Harris if Embiid's back. What was Tyrese Maxey's price tag earlier in the year? Like, how underpriced is he right now? Because it's got to be by a couple $100. All right, so earlier in the year, All right, so he's 7,300 on FanDuel today. Now, I guess he's about properly priced. I feel like I'm over projecting him a bit. We'll talk to Adam about it later. On the Pistons side, ooh, I don't want to look at this. Yeah, I kind of figured. We're jamming the Pistons. Hamidou Diallo, if he's starting at 3,500 on DraftKings, shooting guard, small forward, he's going to be incredibly popular. Killian Hayes, wildly underpriced. Isaiah Stewart, wildly underpriced. Jaden Ivey, Sadiq Bey, wildly underpriced. These are all DraftKings scenarios. On FanDuel, it's Diallo still at 4,400. And then any one of the other starters, Hayes, Stewart, Ivy, Bey, I think you can go any direction there. Unfortunately, we got to pay very close attention to the Pistons. And they're going to look better if Joel Embiid ends up ruled out. Oh, there's a spider. I don't think I killed it. Sure didn't. Give me a second, guys. I want to scoop out. I want to try and figure out if I can find that spider. I can. Woo. Dead. He ain't make it. He didn't make it. Sorry, Spider. Not your day, man. It was a very, very tiny one. He was like very white, translucent almost. All right, we're going to We're going to Charlotte now. 7.5 point dogs in Toronto. 232 total. For the Hornets. Actually, let's turn that fan back on. There we go. For the Hornets, doubtful tag on Gordon Hayward. No CLE-UTA. So this is just going to be basically the same rotation we've been getting. We'll go 34 minutes to LaMelo Ball. 21 to DSJ. We got Rozier in for 33. McDaniels in for 30. Could probably bump that up. Take him up to 32. Cody Martin's minutes climbing as well. I'll take him up to 24. Got Mason Plumlee in for 28. Probably make that 29. Got Mark Williams down 1. PJ Washington in for 32. That'll work. So not a lot of changes that we need to make here for Charlotte. That is the same rotation we've had as of late. Coffee sip. For Toronto, just give me the whole team. Nice. Otto Porter and nobody else, which means we are not really changing this rotation. We've got 37 minutes for Van Vliet. Yes. 36 minutes for Trent. Yes. 37 minutes for Anunoby. Sure. 39 for Siakam. Yes. 35 for Scotty Barnes. Yes. We basically don't have to make changes to this game. I love going to Toronto. I want the whole team. Siakam is a guy that I'm going to have an absolute ton of today. Both sites, including FanDuel at 9,500, where he also has power forward eligibility. I'm going to have a ton of OG Anunoby on both sites. Gary Trent looks a lot better on DraftKings than he does on FanDuel. Scotty Barnes looks good on both sites, but 6,600 for Barnes on DraftKings, just a no-brainer to me. Play all of Toronto against Charlotte. You're not going to find a better scenario. For the Hornets, I probably don't want to play much of anything. Jalen McDaniels would be the guy that I'd be interested in most, but there are no priorities here for the Hornets. If you're going to be playing a bunch of the Raptors, my recommendation is to play a little bit more of LaMelo Ball, because I don't know how close they could keep this if it's not Ball or Rozier. That is the easiest game to talk about by miles and miles and miles. Now we can go to game number 4. The Cleveland Cavaliers in Utah, 4-point favorites, 226 total. What do we have for Cleveland? No Wade, no Rubio, no Windler. So this is basically standard issue Cleveland. Not too much to add here. Gonna get 35 minutes out of Garland. Seems about right. We're gonna get 36 minutes out of Donovan Mitchell. Get 35 minutes out of Jared Allen. That I can bring down. I got 32 in for Mobley. I got 33. And do I want to bring Allen down again? Yeah, I'm going to go Allen 33. I got Kevin Love in for 22. I got Chetty in for 23. I got LeVert. LeVert needs to go up to 28. Horo I have in for 18. Lamar Stevens in for 12. Feels about right. Chetty's probably a hair too high here. On the Utah end, what do we know? Clarkson is available. No Olynyk, no Sexton, no Talen Horton-Tucker. No Olynyk is pretty important. That's a new development, unfortunately. Okay, so 30 minutes for Mike Conley makes sense. 33 minutes for Clarkson makes sense. 34 for Markkanen makes sense. I think without Kelly Olynyk, we get a like 25-23 split for Vanderbilt and Kessler. I think we see Markkanen play most of his minutes at the 4. I'm guessing we get B's. Do they go to the double bigs here? Because like if you're going to ever do it, you would do it here against Cleveland. I just don't know if they're going to do that with no Kelly Olynyk. I think they're going to be more likely to go to Beasley. All right. When they've done the double bigs in the past, how have they staggered them? So, because that's really what we're talking about here. Will they stagger just the 2 bigs? So we're going to look at Vanderbilt and Kessler. And we want the games where they started alongside each other, which they did 4 times. The first 2 times they did it, they basically did it the whole game except for closing run. The third time they did it, they did have a stretch where neither guy was on the floor at the same time. That's going to be a Kelly Olynyk game. The final time that they did it, they went through a 10-minute stretch in the first half where they weren't alongside each other at all. This is going to be hard. I don't really think... I think this is very difficult with no Kelly Olynyk. Oh, this is going to be an interesting conversation to have with Adam. I'm going to say that they play probably like 2 extra minutes alongside of each other. That gets Vanderbilt up to 27. Because they just don't have the same bodies that they had before. I think Rudy Gay just holds in at that like 16 mark. $14 for Akbaji. That can go up, actually. We'll go 18 to Akbaji. There's no Talen Horton-Tucker. Beasley. I mean, Beasley's very live to close now. They can go Conley, Clarkson, Beasley, Markkanen, center. And I think that's the most likely scenario. So I'm going to take Beasley up to 28 minutes. Looks like backup point guard run is just going to be Nickeil Alexander-Walker. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So they've been going 10-man rotation, but it's not going to be THT, and it's not going to be. I need another guy. It's probably Fontecchio, right? Yeah, Fontecchio plays 13 minutes. There we go. I'm guessing Olynyk's stats don't really affect Utah. Like if I do Kelly Olynyk off in games that Conley, Clarkson, and Markkanen all start, I can't imagine these rates change all that much. Yeah, Beasley is the same guy. Markkanen is the same guy. Clarkson gets a little bit more usage. Conley doesn't. So I don't really have any other changes that I want to make here. I guess rebounding rates could be a little bit different. Markkanen gets a little bit of a bump to his rebounding. Vanderbilt takes a huge hit to his rebounding. Walker Kessler is basically the same as he normally is. Rudy Gay doesn't matter. Clarkson doesn't matter. Malik Beasley doesn't matter. I mean, I guess I'll look at assist rates. Why not? It's a bump for Mike Conley. And it makes sense. More spacing. Vandy. Oddly enough, big time assist rate bump. All right, I'm going to call that for Utah. So for the Jazz, wow, I really expected some of these guys to pop. So I think the Jazz look awful. I don't really see anybody other than Malik Beasley on DraftKings that I would really want to roster. And then on FanDuel, I think you can get by. Lauri Markkanen is $8,200 on FanDuel. That's $1,500 cheaper than he is on DraftKings. We don't normally see that kind of disparity. So I will happily go to Markkanen on FanDuel, but there is no value to be found from the Utah Jazz tonight. From the Cleveland side, it's different. $7,700 Garland or $8K Garland, whichever site you're playing on, looks really good. $6,200 Jared Allen on DraftKings is way too cheap. Mitchell is $700 cheaper on FanDuel than he is on DraftKings. Obviously, like him quite a bit more on FanDuel. Mobley's okay on both sites. You can make a case for Karis LeVert, but I wouldn't make a very heavy one. All right, 3 games to go now. Phoenix Suns are 10-point dogs in Golden State, 230 total. Phoenix without everybody, basically. No Chris Paul, no Devin Booker, no Cam Johnson, no Cam Payne. Q-tag on Ayton, Q-tag on Shamet, Q-tag on Torrey Craig. I mean, this is going to be just a true disaster. I don't even really know how to project this team. This is going to be really bad. So, assuming we get Shamet, Bridges, Craig, Saric, Ayton, we're going to get Landry Shamet in for 33 minutes. We're going to get Bridges in for 37 minutes. Torrey Craig probably plays like 29. Saric in these situations really hasn't played much more than like 24. They're going to need Ayton for as many minutes as they could possibly get, so we'll give him 32. Kevin, there was. I guess we get Dwayne Washington in for like 24 minutes. I assume Ish Wainwright has to play a decent chunk of time. So we'll go Landale back up. Josh Okogie's going to have to play more minutes than he normally does. That's for sure. We'll get Damian Lee in for 24 probably. And I'm going to go 14 Ish Wainwright. Maybe Josh Okogie sees the floor. Yeah, Kevin, 20% usage at 0 minutes is 0% usage. I mean, how many minutes have these guys even played with these idiots off the floor? No Paul, no Booker, no Payne. All three guys off. The amount of minutes, this is probably going to be like 40 minutes for some of these guys. No Paul, no Booker, no Payne. Damian Lee's played 227 minutes, doesn't even really touch the ball. Dwayne Washington has a 35% usage rate. Bridges has played 150 minutes in this scenario. Doesn't really see a bump. Shamet gets up to 25. I am going to give him that bump. Like Torrey Craig is just going to start soaking up offense. I can't take Dwayne Washington that high, but I'm going to take it up to 30. He's about to look like a real problem. And then DeAndre Ayton has only played 96 minutes with those three guys off, 26% usage rate. He going to give it a shot. Assist rate. I assume that's really big for some of these guys. Yeah, Dwayne Washington gets a bump. Shamet should get a huge one, right? Yeah. Big bump for Shamet. Nobody else is really going to matter here. Rebounding rate. I would be surprised if Ayton's rebounding rate goes down. I think we're basically good here for Phoenix. Now, on the Golden State side. Oh, brother. Q-tag on Steph. Clay probable. No Kuminga, no JaMychal Green, no Wiseman. Iggy back. I'm guessing we get Steph. It's a shoulder injury, so like I don't expect them for him to be limited, other than the limitation of the fact that they are playing a team that stinks. So I think we're gonna get Poole in for 30. We'll get Looney in for his 24. And then Draymond in for his 32. I know we got Wiggins back on Saturday for 20 minutes. I don't think that he's going to go too crazy here. But I think we're going to get the standard issue starting rotation. We're going to get DiVincenzo back down to, 22. We'll get Clay in for 34. Let's say Wiggins plays 30. That lets me get Anthony Lamb in for 20. And what? Ty Jerome? Is that who I'm missing? 16 for Ty Jerome. Boom. Done. Rates for Golden State, since we haven't had Steph in for a while. Games in which Steph, Clay, and Draymond and Wiggins all start. Easy. Easy game. $19 games. They've all started together. 666 minutes for Steph. 30.5% usage rate. Clay goes in at 25. Looney goes in at 10. Jordan Poole off the bench, 500 minutes, 25.5% usage rate. Draymond Green in for 13. Andrew Wiggins in for 21. Assist rates. A little bit of a bump for Draymond. A little bit of a bump for Steph. Poole with a pretty sizable bump because he's off the bench. No other real changes. Can't imagine rebounding changes all that much. A little bit less for Draymond, oddly enough. So much more for Steph than you would ever expect. Clay, on the other hand, not so much. All right. So for Golden State, we don't really like anybody here. Steph's priced up. Clay's priced. All these guys are priced up because of Steph being out. So I'm probably just skipping Golden State. The problem is you can't skip Phoenix. 5K on DraftKings, 5,600 on FanDuel. Landry Shamet's going to be ultra popular. Dwayne Washington is going to be ultra popular. DeAndre Ayton for 7,500 and 7,700 looks good. Bridges looks good. You can make a case for Torrey Craig. Whoever's starting for Phoenix is going to look really good today, but Shamet in particular is the guy. Assuming he starts. If for some reason we get Dwayne Washington in the starting lineup, it's going to be massive amounts of Dwayne Washington. Close to a lock button. I just don't think he starts. But if Shamet's out, then who the hell knows? What a game. All right, Orlando, 7.5-point dogs in Portland, 230 total. Orlando is on the back-to-back, so I'm not going to do anything here for the Magic. I don't know if Bol is going to be back or not, but I'm going to leave this Orlando projection the exact way that I have it. They played yesterday. I have no reason to make an update. We'll wait until we see their injury report a little bit later. For Portland, that's a little bit different. Nurk in, Gary Payton in, no Justice Winslow, no Nas Little. So I think everything that I have in here for Portland will be largely correct. Got 37 minutes in for Dame. I'm going to go 36 to Simons. We've got 34 for Josh Hart. 35 for Jeremy Grant. I guess they should both be 35. I got 27 in for Nurk. I'm going to make that 28. Actually, we'll make that 29. Jabari Walker plays. Gary Payton plays. Shaden Sharp plays. Guess I don't really have anything else that I want to do here. Put those minutes down a little bit. Bump up Payton 2 more. I think we're good. Whoa, I'm 3 heavy here. Interesting. 16, 15. There we go. Portland's easy to project. And if we look at Portland, they stand out pretty aggressively. Whether that's $6,100 Nurkic on DraftKings, or you could play him for $7,900 on FanDuel. These prices are stupid. $6,100 for Nurk on DraftKings is Jam City, and he's basically like not playable on FanDuel. Dame looks good on both sites. Anthony Simons looks good on both sites. Happy to get to Grant or Hart. No real priorities, but you got to play Nurk on DraftKings today. It's not close. And then for Orlando, assuming they have the same rotation, nobody looks good. If we get somebody ruled out, that might change things a bit. But let's close it out now. Final game of the slate. Dallas Mavericks, 3.5-point dogs in LA against the Clippers. For the Mavs, we got a Q tag on Luka, obviously very important. No Dorian Finney-Smith, no Maxi Kleber, no Josh Green. Clearly, we need to put Luka in, and based on that line, it seems like Luka is going to play. They're going to be way bigger than 3-point dogs in LA if Luka's not playing. So we're going to go ahead and give Spencer Dinwiddie his 37 minutes. We'll get Luka in for his 37 minutes. We'll get Tim Hardaway in for his 35. We get Reggie Bullock in for his 32. We get Christian Wood in for 30. Dwight Powell as the backup at a minimum. Bertans can come in here and play 14 minutes. Jaden Hardy can play like 16 minutes. Ntilikina can play 12 minutes. And now I have 9 minutes left over for someone random. Let's go ahead and give those minutes to McKinley Wright. Clearly, I need rates for Dallas. Although I don't really think that I need rates for Dallas. But we'll just go games where Hardaway starts, Luka starts, and Dinwiddie starts. That should be a good enough sample. Luka's at 39% usage. Dinwiddie goes down to 19. Hardaway goes to 20. Christian Wood is at 26. What happens when Wood also starts? How many games do I have in that sample? 9. Okay. Bigger usage rate, oddly enough, for Luka. Lower usage rate for Spencer Dinwiddie. Christian Wood hangs out at around 24.5. That gets me Hardaway where I need him to be. It does not get me Dinwiddie where I need him to be. I'm going to go down to 17.5 for Dinwiddie. Assist rate. Luka basically stays the same. Dinwiddie's comes down pretty dramatically. Hardaway never got assists to begin with. Christian Wood, fine. Rebounding, no surprise. Luka is the guy pulling down the boards. Hardaway is fine. Spencer Dinwiddie does even less than he normally does. God, Dinwiddie's going to look terrible. And then Christian Wood, oddly enough, goes down a bit. Well, that's Dallas. I assume the Clippers are on a back-to-back and complicated, just to make things hard. No Paul George, no Luke Kennard. Everybody else available. That's actually really easy to manage. Same rotation as Sunday. So Reggie Jackson played 8. Did he get hurt? What happened to Reggie Jackson on Sunday? He didn't start. Really? So they started Man, Batum, Kawhi, Morris, and Zubac. Well, that's weird. Well, I guess we need to go with that again, right? They didn't win. Terrence Mann in that starting role was -4, so it was more of a bench issue. I'm going to say Terrence Mann plays 30. And then I mean, Reggie Jackson like legitimately barely played. That's insane to me. All right, Zubac goes in for 29. Moses Brown played the past 3 games. I guess that's mildly interesting. give him 14 minutes, just standard 2 rotations. That lets us get Marcus Morris in for 28. Lets me get Nick Batum in for 28. It lets me get Kawhi Leonard in for 34. Norm Powell will likely just play the normal Norm Powell rotation of 26 for right now. Normally, if you're looking to trade a guy like Reggie Jackson, you don't take him off the court completely so that you can showcase that contract that no one wants. All right, so that leaves me 51 minutes. I got to get Wall in for like his pretty standard 22. That leaves me 29 minutes for Reggie Jackson. And that's mostly it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So they played 9 guys. I'm going to assume that Reggie Jackson gets the second quarter rotation again. That still leaves me 13 more minutes. I guess maybe I need to go a little bit heavier on Norm Powell. Did Norm Powell close? Sort of. All right, I'm going to go to 28 on Norm Powell, assuming it's competitive. That's still 11 more minutes. Where is this playing time going? I guess it should be 32 here for Terrence Mann. I don't want to go more to Batum. I don't want to go more to Morris. I can't go more to Zubats. I'm going to throw them to Covington for right now. Don't have a great feel. Do need to get the rates for no Paul George, which is not a sample that we're used to. So we'll say Paul George off in games that Kawhi Leonard played. It's really the best that we could hope for here. I'll delete everything. Yeah, this is not the biggest sample in the world. Kawhi's played 171 minutes with Paul George off. It's a 28 and change usage rate. Norm Powell's got a 29% usage rate. I expect those guys pretty similar. Terrence Mann at 16%. Batum's obviously not going to be that guy. Marcus Morris probably is that guy at least a little bit. 148 minutes, 20% usage rate. And then Zoo, always sort of the same guy. So we could leave both he and Batum go. Assist rate. John Wall's fine. Actually, what's Wall's usage rate there? 26. Not even going to matter. Don't really have anything to change for the assist rate for any of these guys. I guess Kawhi's comes down a little bit. No surprise there. Why would you pass? Rebounding can all stay the same. This is going to be pretty interesting. So for the Clippers, look, if Terrence Mann is starting again, you just jam in Terrence Mann. He's 4K on DraftKings, 4,500 on FanDuel. Norm Powell's 4,900 on DraftKings. I think he stands out pretty aggressively as well. It makes sense to want to go to Kawhi, but I don't think that he stands out in any way. Zubats looks fine, but there's a million centers. For Dallas, assuming we get them at full strength, it's Luka and nobody else. So we have made it to 7:30. It is time to run some crunches. For the 184 of you that are in here right now, hit that like button, folks. I'm seeing 67 likes. Not nearly enough. We should be up near 100 if we've got 187 people in here. So let us run FanDuel Optimals. Let's see what we end up with here. I assume we get Luka just because there's going to be enough salary, but it's possible that it ends up being like Siakam plus somebody else. All right, so optimal. Dame, so I was right. It's Siakam plus somebody else, but it's two somebodies. Dame, Donovan Mitchell, Shamet, Dwayne Washington, Terrence Mann, Hamidou Diallo, Pascal Siakam, Isaiah Stewart, and DeAndre Ayton. Lots of Q tags here too, so that's kind of scary. From a power rankings perspective, we have looking like, man, it's pretty tight at the top. Probably Terrence Mann, maybe Hamidou Diallo, although Pascal Siakam is trying to run them down. I just don't know if he's going to be able to do it. We have four very clear top plays. Yeah, I have Anthony Simons over projected. I need to make an update to Portland. I get too much Anthony Simons pretty regularly. I know that by making this change, it's going to end up costing me, but I think that I have him over projected. He shouldn't be projecting like the other three guys are projecting right now. So I'm going to grab Portland rates in games where Dame starts, Grant starts, Simon starts, and Nurk starts. Something's projecting Anthony Simons too highly. He just shouldn't show up with value plays when he's just been in. 757 minutes, 24.5% usage rate. His assist rate needs to come down quite a bit. This should soften him enough that he separates from the pack, and then we have three very clear top guys. There we go. So let's rerun the power rankings now that Simon shouldn't be looking better than most of those dudes. Sometimes you guys got to run a crunch to see, is a guy that's like standard issue priced showing up in a way that he shouldn't? And that's what's happening right here. So now we rerun this crunch, power rankings, and it immediately just makes a lot more sense. Like, don't get me wrong. I still love the price of Anthony Simons against Orlando. He's 6,100. That's the lowest price he's had basically all year, except for the absolute beginning of the season. You know, he was upwards of 8,500 when Dame was out. So that all makes sense to me now. Pascal Siakam is my number one contender on FanDuel. Hamidou Diallo second. Terrence Mann, Anthony Simons. But you can see that gap now. Simons was in that 30+% range before. Now he's down to 24. So Siakam, Diallo, Mann, Simons, Stewart, Ayton, Shamet, Washington, Bam Adebayo if he plays, and Mikal Bridges. One second, guys. Sometimes, guys, I wonder how we land on these things. Simon's fantasy points are big when he plays at home. This season, Anthony Simons has scored 731 fantasy points in 795 minutes on the road, 0.92. At home, it is 552 in 537 minutes, 1.03, slightly higher, like every other player in the league. Everybody generally scores more at home than they do on the road. Home cooking referees, home court advantage, all that stuff. That is not a thing that you want to look at. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. Unless you get situations like we used to have back in the day where the scorekeeper for the Wizards called everything an assist for home games for John Wall, because that was a thing. Now, DraftKings. Power rankings on DK. We have optimal lineup by 0.15. Jaden Ivey, Dwayne Washington, Hamidou Diallo, Scotty Barnes, Joel Embiid, Terrence Mann, Landry Shamet, and Pascal Siakam. Fantasy Island, stop noticing that. He's not lately bad on the road. That's not a thing. You shouldn't even look at a box score or game logs like that. All you're going to do is make yourself make worse lineups. How many road games has he played? 12? Like, what are we doing here? Power rankings on DraftKings. Before we look at the power rankings for DK, we got to talk about BetMGM. They are the sponsor of this show. If you are interested in 2 free months of Stokastic Plus Platinum, that should be the thing that you want the most if you're watching this show. You could also get a risk-free bet up to $1,000 if you have never signed up at BetMGM before. If you are new to sports betting, go ahead and make a deposit because you guys are going to be able to make this bet up to $1,000. Put in as much as you can. If the bet wins, and you should take a shot here. You want to take an underdog in this kind of spot. If it wins, all that money just stays in your account and you move on with a nice, sizable bankroll. If it loses, they will put that money back in your account as free bets that you can then bet again. So you basically get another shot at everything that you did. Take the opportunity. Eventually, this deal is going to go away, but 2 free months of Stokastic Plus Platinum, that gets you in behind the paywall. And the power rankings for DraftKings. Hamidou Diallo, pretty clearly in the number 1 spot. Landry Shamet, 2. Scotty Barnes, 3. OG Anunoby, 4. Anthony Simons, 5. Dwayne Washington, Pascal Siakam, Terrence Mann, Gary Trent, and Yusuf Nurkic rounded out. The prices on DraftKings today are a real problem. Very, very, very soft pricing. Completely different than FanDuel right now. But folks, we are done here. Another one in the books. Good stuff today. Enjoyed this show. We got another easy one tomorrow. We've got another easy one on Thursday. We got another easy one on Friday. These are fun slates this week. I'm going to have a ton of energy for it all. I cannot wait. Thank you guys for joining me. If you have not hit the like button yet, please do so now. Contenders videos will be out shortly. Strategy show at 10 o'clock with Adam. Deeper dive later today with Adam at 5 p.m. You're going to get me for everything today. I hope you enjoy it. I shall talk to you guys later. Everybody, this was The Process.